The Russian military said it had fired its hypersonic Oreshnik missile at a target in Ukraine in response to what it described as an attempted Ukrainian drone strike on one of President Vladimir Putin's residences last month, which Kyiv has denied. It is the second time that Russia has used the intermediate-range Oreshnik, a missile which Putin has boasted is impossible to intercept because of its reported velocity of more than 10 times the speed of sound. The missile is capable of carrying nuclear warheads, although there was no suggestion that the one used in the overnight attack had been fitted with them. The Ukrainian Air Force confirmed on Friday that Russia had fired an Oreshnik missile launched from the Kapustin Yar test range near the Caspian Sea. The Oreshnik, whose name means Hazel Tree, is an intermediate-range hypersonic ballistic missile that Russia has fired only once before against Ukraine, in November 2024.
And so the ballistic missile launches and takes everything up into space, and the first stage falls away, and then the second rocket motor falls away, and then you just have the bus kind of drifting in space.
On that occasion it was equipped only with dummy warheads and therefore caused limited damage, Ukrainian sources said, in what was effectively a test. If the overnight attack carried explosive warheads, it would mark the first time that Russia has used the Oreshnik with full destructive intent. The strike targeted what Russia called critical infrastructure in Ukraine, though the extent of the damage was not immediately clear. What is special about the weapon? Experts say the novel feature of the Oreshnik is that it can carry multiple warheads capable of simultaneously striking different targets, usually associated with longer-range intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs.
And that is when the little thrusters start to maneuver so it can drop warheads on different locations. This is something that all intercontinental range ballistic missiles do. If you hear about a missile with multiple warheads, and that the multiple warheads can be placed against different targets, the way they do that is by a bus that maneuvers in space and drops things. What the Russians have done is taken that basic idea of a bus and they've married it to conventional weapons, and they've used it to deliver conventional weapons, really, I think, for the first time in history. As the thing goes through space, those thrusters will fire to turn the bus so that it can drop warheads in different locations. And that's basically what we saw is the bus carried probably 6 warheads, and each of those 6 warheads carried 6 submunitions. So what you saw were 6 different sets of 6 little missiles striking the base, and they each went to slightly different places, and that's because the bus was able to maneuver and drop them in different spots.
The missile is based on the Rupees 26 Rubage, which Russia had originally developed as an intercontinental missile. Like many Russian weapons systems, it is capable of carrying nuclear as well as conventional warheads, but there was no suggestion of any nuclear component to the overnight attack.
This is a new capability, but it is not a capability that represents a dramatic change in the way that conventional weapons are developed. It's a series of old technologies that have been put together in a new way.
Ukraine said the missile fired in 2024 took about 15 minutes to reach its target after being launched from southern Russia, and reached a speed of about 13,600 kilometers per hour. Russian President Vladimir Putin has claimed that the Oreshnik is impossible to intercept and that it has destructive power comparable to that of a nuclear weapon, even when fitted with a conventional warhead. Some Western experts have said those claims are exaggerated.
Any significant long-range ballistic missile will travel at speeds in excess of Mach 5. And again, people are making a big deal about this thing going 3.5 kilometers per second. An ICBM fired to its full range, will travel at like 7 kilometers a second. So like twice that speed.
Since 2024, Russia has put the Oreshnik into serial production and also supplied it to its ally Belarus. Why use it now? The Russian military said it fired the Oreshnik in response to what Moscow says was an attempted Ukrainian drone attack late last year on one of Putin's residences in Novgorod, northern Russia. Ukraine said Russia was lying and that no such attack took place. Putin had previously threatened to use the Oreshnik, including against decision-making in Kyiv, if Ukraine continued to attack Russia with long-range Western weapons, but had refrained from doing so until now. The overnight attack was directed against the Lviv region of western Ukraine, which borders NATO member Poland. Ukraine's foreign minister called it a global threat that demanded a global response.